Hey guys, happy Tuesday. We are back with Breakout, starting on page 288. Okay. Saturday, June 15th. Letter for Nora Tucker's mom. This showed up, from Nora Tucker's mom. This showed up at my bedroom door with a brownie tonight. Dear Nora, thank you for your petition. I was disappointed in you today. I told you clearly not to go to Elodie's house, and you went anyway. You chose to do this even after the family made arrangements for you girls to run safely this morning. Please understand that I like both Elodie and her mother. My decision had nothing to do with her race or her brother or anything other than the fact that there is too much going on right now. I don't need one more thing to worry about. While I appreciate your historical perspective on civil disobedience, Dad and I are not an unjust government. We are your parents. We make rules to keep you safe, and breaking those rules has consequences. As you may know from your excellent social studies class, accepting consequences for one's actions is an important part of civil disobedience. In his letter from a Birmingham jail, Martin Luther King Jr. wrote, "One who breaks an unjust law must do so openly, lovingly, and with a willingness to accept the penalty." When Thoreau ignored the fugitive slave law in 1850, he said, "Under a government which imprisons any unjustly, the true place for a just man is also a prison." Thoreau, Gandhi, and King all willingly spent time in jail for their decisions to break the law. I trust that you are noble enough to accept the consequences of your decision today as well. However, as you point out, there is not much to ground you from at the moment, given how often we've had to be inside lately. Therefore, your new consequence will be 2 weeks of doing dishes after dinner and limited out-of-the-house activities, including preparing for your relay and community service such as baking cookies for the police. We, the undersigned, ask that you accept your punishment in the spirit of all the civilly disobedient people you mention in your letter. We also ask that you accept this brownie as a token of our love. Signed, Mom. Saturday, June 15th. Letter from Nora Tucker. Dear future Wolf Creek residents, I need to talk with Mr. Langdon about civil disobedience on Monday. When you're teaching kids about cool people who break laws in the name of justice, it seems important not to leave out the fact that they got thrown in jail. You future people should know that there are penalties for civil disobedience, in case it still works that way when you read this. No one bothered to share that information with me, so now I'm in dish jail. Sorry, I got an itch. For 2 weeks. Actually, it wouldn't have mattered even if someone had told me ahead of time. I would have gone to Elodie's anyway. I ate the brownie Mom left with her return petition, but I still think her decision was wrong. And I'm not sure I believe that it had nothing to do with Elodie or her brother. Your friend from the past, Nora Tucker. Saturday, June 15th. Pages from Elodie's notebook. My Own Saturday Morning by Elodie Jones. Learning from Jacqueline, number 6. Inspired by Saturday Morning and Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson. Today in this new place there are strawberries, bigger and fatter than we grew, in the community garden back home, sweetest I've ever tasted. Mama didn't have to work, so we went out picking with Mrs. G, who knew a place where you get a wagon ride back to the fields. Old white man in a green baseball cap helped us out, then climbed onto the tractor and we were off, bumping over a rutted dirt road, past knee-high cornfields and trees with baby apples, out to the strawberries. Rows and rows and rows beyond rows. College girl in cut-off blue jeans weighed our baskets and sent us with a man darker than Mama and me put together. He was from Jamaica, just like Grandmama's daddy, but he comes here to work in the summer and fall. So he showed us where to pick, and I squatted down in the straw between the plants, started filling my basket, but then I found one so perfect and warm from the sun, I wanted to eat it right then. I held it, scratchy seeds in my palm, and caught Mama's head. She shook her head. Not until we pay for them. But then someone said, "Nah, go right ahead." Jean Short's girl was grinning down at us. Grandpa Bob says everybody should enjoy a few while they pick. It's part of the deal. Mama smiled back at the girl and nodded, so I popped that strawberry into my mouth before she could change her mind. It was so warm and sweet and full of sunshine, it almost made me cry. And then I thought just maybe Grandpa Bob would be the sort of person to loan you an egg if you needed one. Maybe the Wolf Creek Mrs. G talked about wasn't a total lie, after all. Sunday, June 16th. Text messages between Nora and Lizzie. Lizzie, you awake? Nora, kinda, what's up? Lizzie, I'm on my way over. Nora, now? I thought we were meeting after church. Lizzie, we were, but it's crazy here, so my mom just talked to your mom and she's bringing me now. Nora, everything okay? Lizzie, yeah, really no. I'll talk to you when I get there. Nora, okay, see you soon. Sunday, June 16th. Letter from Nora Tucker. Dear future Wolf Creek residents, Lizzie texted me awake early, and when I went downstairs, Dad was drinking coffee and talking with Mom at the kitchen table. For a second, I thought he came home because they finally caught those guys, but he didn't look happy enough for that. He smiled and hugged me, though, and said he's missed his girls. I'm sure he missed Sean and Owen, too, but they weren't there. He came by to give Mom a quick update before he goes back for more meetings. I'll tell you this much. Dad is steamed about all the news reporters talking about the prison. He says if you've never been in the yard with 600 inmates and 8 officers knowing that you're only okay because the inmates let you be okay, then you can't really understand what working in a prison is like. That might be true, but I still think it's important to have journalists to report on everything. I didn't tell Dad that. Instead, I told him about our relay plans and how we're going to practice baton handoffs. He wasn't really listening, though, I could tell. Ever since those guys escaped, even when he's here, which is not very often, he's not really here. I'm pretty sure he didn't hear a word I said. But at least now you future Wolf Creek residents know my plans for the day. I'm taking my peanut butter toast into the living room to watch TV. Your friend from the past, Nora Tucker. Sunday, June 16th, CNN Morning News Report. This was all on TV, but I printed this from CNN.com. It's day 9 of the massive manhunt for the 2 inmates who escaped from Wolf Creek Correctional Facility. There are several new developments. Yesterday's big lead in the case, a man running near the river, turned out to be a false alarm. However, searchers have returned to a wooded area not far from the prison today. They say last night helicopters picked up infrared image of what may have been someone in the trees. Meanwhile, investigators continue to search for answers about how the escape happened. They say accused prison break accomplice Priscilla Wadsworth is cooperating and will have another meeting with police investigators today. Her family members declined to comment on the situation. Meanwhile, an investigative team from Albany is due at the prison this afternoon to conduct more internal interviews about just what happened in the days leading up to the escape. Sunday, June 16th. Letter from Nora Tucker. Dear future Wolf Creek residents, I know I just wrote, but now I know why Lizzie's coming over. CNN just showed video of her house, and when they said family members didn't want to be interviewed, there were like 20 reporters buzzing around the driveway. I bet I know what Dad's whispering about, too. The state's sending investigators to his prison today. You can learn a lot watching CNN. In other news, I'd like to apologize to whoever owns our house in the future, because the fireplace is probably still covered in burned marshmallow drips. Owen had his not a cookout birthday party last night, and Mom let him make s'mores in the living room. Owen and Noah are out in his tree fort now. Mom is standing guard on the porch to make sure no inmates show up. They're casting spells with his new wand, writing plots and plans, and eating all the leftover marshmallows. It's amazing what you can get away with when people feel bad that inmates ruined your birthday. Speaking of inmates, there are 2 police cars parked on our road now. CNN says it's because police in helicopters might have seen something. In the first days after the escape, everybody got excited. Every time there was a development, there'd be a reported sighting and we'd all think, this is it. But it always turned out to be nothing. 2 days ago, Bud Coleman over on Trudeau Road was sure he saw 2 men running through his field in the rain. So the police went screaming over there. They couldn't find anybody or even any sign anybody had been there. The only tracks in the muddy field were from Mr. Coleman's cows. You have to be pretty paranoid to mistake cows for inmates. Uncle Tommy says the officers are starting to feel like they're chasing ghosts. The police cars just left, heading toward the river. No lights or sirens, but they left pretty fast. Maybe somebody saw another ghost. Your friend from the past, Nora Tucker.